So let's take a moment. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. We are going to start another yoga stream in about 5 minutes time, just to make sure everybody can tune in, everybody can find their place, find a mat, roll it out, get ready, settle in, stuff like that. And then we're going to start. Oh, let me check. Okay, perfect. I'm going to do it like this. Yes, perfect. Take your time. Okay. If you're just tuning in, welcome. We're gonna do another yoga stream in a few minutes time, 2 minutes, and this is gonna be a relaxed yoga stream. So take your time to just roll out your mat, take maybe a blanket if you want, or a towel for later on under your knees. Can be nice to have a little bit more soft surface. Other than that, you don't really need anything. Okay, this is just gonna be relaxed yoga. We're gonna work on the neck and shoulders mostly, to loosen them up a little bit for the weekend. Okay. If you're tuning in right now, welcome to the yoga stream. Make sure you got a mat, or maybe you have something else like a rug, anything you want to use in relaxed yoga. You don't really need, really grip, but it's more important that your surface is soft enough, so that when you sit for a little bit longer, or when you rest on your knees, you don't get problems, you don't get pain. You can always use something like this, a small rug or a towel or a blanket that you can roll up and that you can fold, so that you can use it anytime you need to adjust your surface. Okay, because the knees are not meant to sit on for a long time, and we're going to do it anyway. And they can perfectly handle that, but it's nicer for them if you use something extra. So sometimes a yoga mat is not enough. Sometimes you need something extra to adjust a pose. Okay, so we're going to do soft postures. We're going to pay some attention to the neck, to the shoulder area, to loosen it up for the weekend. So we're going to be completely relaxed for our Saturdays and our Sundays. So if you're just tuning in, welcome. We're going to do a relaxed yoga stream. So make yourself comfortable. And if you want to sit on the floor, you can always start on a chair. A lot of these exercises we're going to do today, you can do on a chair, no problem, because we're mainly going to work on shoulders and neck. If you want to sit on the floor, on the mat, sometimes it's nice, to change the way you are sitting. It's nice for the hips, for the back. It might be possible for you to sit like this in cross-legged position. Maybe you want to sit in lotus or half lotus, or you can use something to lift your hips off the floor. Okay, so if you feel that it's too much to sit like this, put something under your hips. Maybe a blanket, maybe a cushion. If you have a big book, you can always use that. The main thing is that you can sit comfortably without using too much strength, okay? Once you're settled in, you can just take a few deep, soft breaths to kind of land today. Deeply in, fully out, just 2 or 3 to kind of tell your body that it's okay. It's okay to rest now. It's an active rest. Relaxed yoga can be seen as an active rest. We're not going to try to accomplish anything here. We're not going to put any strength on the body. We're just going to make easy, soft poses, postures, sometimes flowing, sometimes still. And know that you can adjust at any time. Okay, this is your class, it's your yoga, and most importantly, it's your body. And sometimes things I do fit you perfectly, and sometimes they absolutely don't. Okay, so try to make it your own. And try to feel that when you're sitting, your body can become a little bit more at ease. If you've had a long day, a busy day, or if there are a lot of things that are still asking for your attention, maybe just in your head, try to acknowledge that. It might be harder for the body right now to relax, to become still, especially if you're just sitting down. So don't expect it to completely unwind right here. And maybe after these 40 minutes of relax yoga, it might be a bit easier. But take your time, don't be too tough on yourself. The fact that you're sitting here, the fact that you're showing up is enough. And maybe you realize that you are so tired that all you want to do is lay down. Then please just lay down on your mat and just listen. Maybe you just want to watch the yoga stream or just want to listen to my voice. Everything is fine. Just make it your own. Whatever feels good right now. And when you start to focus on the breathing, you might know if you are breathing shallow or deep. You might realize if you're breathing fast or slow. You might notice the air temperature that comes in and that goes out. And try to relax your belly. If you can relax the whole belly area, the breathing comes down very naturally. Don't push it down, just let it kind of sink into the belly and then slowly, same way back up. No pressure. Fully in, slowly out, and keep it natural. You might deepen your natural rhythm a little bit by relaxing the belly. But it's very important to not try too hard, to just let it come. You could try to just breathe out and then realize that the inhale is kind of coming on its own. It's not like you are inhaling the air, it's like the air is flowing inside. It's like a vacuum that's being filled. You don't really have to do anything for that, it just happens. Try to keep that rhythm of soft and easy breaths. Inhaling and exhaling in your own pace. You might see that your in and exhale is about the same length, and you could just keep it that way. But if your inhale is a lot longer than your exhale, try to lengthen the exhale. So breathe out slowly, with a little bit more control. It's better for your body to keep both in and exhale about the same length, or you can make the exhale a little bit longer. If you can do that, it's perfect. Otherwise, try to keep them at least the same length. And see if there are any parts of the body that might hold tension. You know, maybe you feel that you are, without really being aware, holding tension in your legs, in your fingers, maybe in your face. Try to relax your face. So keep your eyes closed very softly. Cheeks are soft, the mouth is soft. And most importantly, the jaw. The jaw is a very strong muscle and it's very, very closely related to headaches. Okay, so it's very important to relax the entire jaw muscle. And once you do that, you might notice that the muscles on the sides of your neck are being relaxed along with that one. Okay, so they're all attached to each other. So relaxing one muscle always influences the tension on the other muscles. One more deep breath in and out. And you can always keep your eyes closed if you want to. Otherwise, you can slowly open them. And join me in the movements. We're just going to move our heads from side to side. So you bring your ear to your shoulder, try to keep the shoulders relaxed and just move the head one way and the other. You could choose the pace, okay? If you want to make more dynamic movement, just keep the head moving slowly from side to side, don't go too quick. If you want to stay at one side a little bit, you can do that, and then once you're ready, you can move towards the other side. Again, whether you know, there are no rules, especially in relaxed yoga. Try to stay close to yourself, to your body, to your experience, and they might be very different from mine. So my movement might be different, my desire of what I want right now might be different. So feel your own need, okay? Slowly come back up with the head. We're going to start turning left to right. So you're turning your head left to right. Again, your range of motion is important here. Don't pull. If you feel like you get some resistance in the muscles in your neck, stop the movement. So don't pull through, because then you're hardening those muscles. You easily overstretch them, and it might feel like a good idea at the time, but afterwards they will be even more painful than before. So the neck is especially an area where you can be very, very careful with, and you immediately have results. Okay, so even if you don't really feel like you're stretching, the movement on its own is enough. And sometimes after a few movements you feel you get more and more room there. So you might be able to stretch a little bit further, okay? Let's see what your range of motion is at the moment. Just go with it. And slowly come back to the middle. And I'm going back and forth. When you're going forth, try to keep the whole back and the shoulders straight, and just move your chin towards your chest. As far as you like. If you want to put a little bit of pressure on here, it's okay. You can kind of pull your chin down. If you come up, you can keep it just straight. If you have no neck problems, you can lift the chin. So don't let the head fall backwards, don't hang in your neck, but you just lift and stretch the chin, let's say diagonally upwards. Okay? So at all times, keep control over the movement. Never let your head just, in this position, never let it hang backwards. There are positions in the yoga where you can just relax the head back, but right here in the sitting position I would not recommend it. Especially if you have headaches, or if you are a little bit older, let's say over 45 or 50, the vertebrae will become more sensitive. The neck will be a very sensitive area where you easily get injured, and there's no benefit from letting the head hang backwards, especially in this pose, okay? Slowly come back to the middle, and if you want to, you can make a circle. So you're kind of painting a circle with your nose in the air. Again, find your own pace. A few times the other way around, if you like. Otherwise, just choose the movement you enjoyed most from last ones. You can just repeat that one. Otherwise, slowly make one more round until you are back into a neutral position. Very good. Okay, we're going to use the hands now. You can bring the fingertips alongside the body on both sides on the floor. And when you breathe in, you can bring the hands all the way up. Just stretch yourself all the way up. If you have painful shoulders, you can keep the arms a little bit wider. That way you don't put too much pressure on the shoulder area. Otherwise, just keep them alongside your ears. Try to keep the stretching. So like someone is pulling you up. Keep breathing, keep the head just straight. If you want to look up a little bit, it's fine. Not all the way, otherwise the head hangs back again. So just a little bit. Keep the stretching. You're doing great. Okay, when you breathe out, you kind of push the air down. So put some pressure on the arms. Slowly bring them down all the way back to the floor. We're going to do the same thing. Breathe in, bring the arms up, stretch yourself out so you reach. One more breath. Keep breathing. Try to keep the breathing towards the belly. So you keep the belly a little bit relaxed. Maybe you need some muscles, but not all. And when you breathe out, all the way back down. Very, very good. Okay, if you want to roll the shoulders, you can keep the hands on the floor or loosely let them rest on your legs. Just roll your shoulders all the way up and down, back and forth. And in the meantime, just keep breathing. It's very important. It might sound very logical because of course you keep breathing, but without noticing the breath, it's very easy to kind of stop breathing when you're focusing on a movement, or the breathing becomes very shallow. And what we want in order to relax and to be able to do the movements is to keep the breathing all the way down. Fully in, fully out. Very good. If you want to continue this movement, you can do so. Otherwise, you can place both hands with the fingertips on the shoulders. We're going to make the movement a little bit bigger. So we're going to use the elbows actually to draw 2 circles on either side of our body. And you can make this movement, of course, again, as big as you like. So if you have very tight muscles, keep the shoulders lower and make the movement like this. So make small circles. You don't draw them up actually, because that can be tough. And stretch yourself out. Every time you breathe out, bring the arms back and down all the way. Very good. Keep the breathing. Okay. Slowly, slowly release the hands all the way back. Okay. I'm going to change like this a little bit. You can bring the hands backwards. You can keep them on the floor, or you can bring the hands together. If you do that, try to bring the wrists together as well. So you don't hang in the wrists like this. You keep the wrists a little bit more together. And again, if you want to, you can stretch out to the floor. If it's easier, just keep your hands on the floor. Try to bring them backwards, sitting up straight. And when you breathe out, bring your chin to your chest again. And you can reach even further backwards and bring the chin even more down. So you make a stronger movement than the one we just did. Bring the shoulder blades together and the head down. And keep on breathing. So try to feel that you can still breathe. Nothing's changed. Relax the belly a little bit. Try to keep the face relaxed. Even when you are in a position that might be a bit uncomfortable, try to kind of teach your body that it doesn't need stress, okay? It doesn't have to make the hormones that come with that. Cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline. They don't need to be active because you actually have full control over the uncomfortability of this pose. And you can tell your body that by breathing in slowly, steadily, fully. You might feel, if your shoulders are tight, that your hands or your arms start tingling. That's perfectly fine, as long as it doesn't hurt, they don't go numb. One more breath here. And when you breathe out, slowly relax the hands forward. And you can make a forward fold. You can bring the hands on the floor if you want. Maybe even the elbows. Just try to relax the head hanging down. And keep on breathing again. You might feel that you can sort of sink into this pose. It's important to release all tension on the head and the shoulders. So it's kind of the counter pose of what we just did. You might feel a stretch in the lower back or in the buttocks as well, in the hips. That's perfectly fine. But we're focusing today on the kind of the upper back, shoulder, neck area. Okay. One more breath here, and then slowly roll yourself back up again. Take your time. Make sure you're never in a hurry. Once you relax yoga, that kind of putting on that mode where you can do everything kind of in slow motion. Always in slow motion in relax yoga. That's so nice because once you find that motion in your body, you will find that same slow motion in your mind. Doesn't mean you become very slow, but it calms down a little bit. Okay. You can bring your hands behind your head. You can interlace the fingers. You can bring the hands behind. And then slowly bring the elbows a little bit towards each other. Keep the neck and the back long. And as far as you like, we're going again, chin to chest. In this movement, if you want, you can roll the upper back along a little bit. Keep the lower and middle back straight so you don't round yourself forward. So the middle, the gravity, still stay. So sometimes it's difficult to talk. Your point of gravity stays between your hips, so in the center. Doesn't go forward or backwards, just the head and, if you want, the upper back. Try to release it and let the head hang, and the arms can kind of strengthen in this pose. If it's too much, release the hands and relax them on the legs, okay? So always adjust the pose for your own needs, for your own body. And trust yourself that you know what's right. You can trust what you feel. Slowly release again, so come up with the head, stretch the elbows backwards, and if you want, you can just stretch and maybe yawn, bring the arms back, roll the shoulders a few more times, or just wiggle if you feel like it. You know, whatever comes to you. Okay. Then we're gonna need our blankie, if you have one, or you can use a towel, or maybe you have like a very a little bit long of a cushion, anything you like to put under your knees. You don't have to put anything under your knees, by the way. If you feel comfortable just sitting on the mat, you can do that. But usually it's nicer if you're going to stay on the knees a little bit longer to have something of a softer surface. We're gonna come to all fours. I do a lot of things on my fists because I have a wrist problem, but you can just use your hands on the floor. Otherwise, if you use your fists, make sure your hands are facing each other, so the inside of your hands are facing each other. Okay. Let's make myself a little bit more presentable. Very important. Try to keep the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the hands. So you're standing very strong, very firm. And from here, we're going to make a cat-cow movement. Maybe you already know that movement. We're using it a lot because it's so powerful and so easy. So we're making a round and a hollow back. When you breathe in, you kind of relax the belly. You relax the back, so you're making a hollow back without any pressure. And if you want, you can lift your head. And when you breathe out, pull the navel in, bring the tailbone down and the head between your arms. So you make a complete round back, and with this you can use a little bit more strength. If you want to, you can kind of push yourself off the floor with your shins. And when you breathe in, slowly back to cat position, round yourself. And as with everything, find your own rhythm. Try to use your breathing as a rhythm. It can help to make the movement feel easier. So when you breathe out, use your entire exhale to round the back, and use your entire inhale to hollow the back. And if that goes too fast, you just stay one in and exhale in every position. And slowly come back to all fours on neutral. And try to make a little bit of a round lower back. If you have your neutral position, you usually have a little bit of a hollow back. So to make it round might feel weird, but you strengthen your core with it and you don't hang in the back. And it's important for our next pose, for our next posture, next movement. You keep the right hand on the floor, the left hand goes all the way up. You'll see how far you get, and when you breathe out, it comes back down. Breathe in, bring it up. Maybe you come halfway, maybe you get right here, it's fine too. Okay, there's no end pose or something you should reach. Breathe out, bring it back down. In, bring it up. So again, find your own rhythm. See how fast or how slow you want to go. Just make sure it feels good for you, okay? So bring it up one more time and then you can hold it wherever you want to reach. Keep the belly a little bit activated so you don't hang in the lower back. Not too much. And when you breathe out, slowly bring it back down. And we're going to switch sides. Okay, so we're going to use the right arm to come up when you breathe in and to go down when you breathe out. Keep some attention to the lower back. And try to make strong shoulders. So don't hang in your shoulders, but activate them. So you kind of push yourself off the ground, in this case with your left hand. You can look along your arm if you want to. And once you're there, up again, try to stay there for a few breaths. Keep breathing. When you breathe out, slowly bring the hands back. Very good. We're going to child's pose. So you can bring your hips towards your heels. If you want to stretch out your hands, you can. Maybe if you've been on flat hands, it's nice to put your fingertips on the floor and let the elbows rest. So you have a counter pose for putting your wrists in a little bit of pressure. You can place your head on the ground. If you want to, just bring your hands backwards alongside your body to rest like this. Sometimes this is more restful for the shoulders, but it depends a little bit on your posture, what is most comfortable for you. You can also bring your head on your hands, on top of your hands, flat hands, or you can make two fists. That way your head doesn't hang down too much. So if you have, for example, if you're having a cold, or if you have high blood pressure, try to make sure your head doesn't hang too low. It's better to keep it up a little bit. And then this pose can be very, very comfortable. Just relax the head. Keep the breathing slow, steady, or if it just messed up a little bit in the last exercise, try to bring new rhythm. And give yourself time to get used to things. Okay, if you just started yoga, your body needs to learn what is going on and it might resist. And one of that resistant things is the breath. Okay, so that's always something you can adjust. That is a good measurement for you on how tough something might be. If you want to ease up in the pose a little bit, keep the breathing steady. Slowly come back out of child's pose. So come back on all fours. And from this position, walk your hands forward. Try to keep the hips above the knees or even a little bit backwards. Not to the front, otherwise it's coming way too much weight on your shoulders. So keep the hips over the knees, stretch out the arms, and let your forehead rest on the floor. If your chest is reaching the floor, if your chest is leaning on the floor, then you can put your chin on the floor instead of your forehead. And this might feel like a lot of pressure on the shoulders. Again, if it's too heavy, bring the weight back. So you're coming more and more into child's pose if you bring the weight back. but you'll notice that it's a lot easier on the shoulders. So make this as tough as you want. And relax yoga is meant to enjoy, and also try to enjoy the uncomfortable feelings, as long as they're not painful. You know what you're working for. You know, it's just to pay attention to your body, to feel a little bit more relaxed afterwards, to become aware of what's going on inside yourself, how to work with that, how to release tension. And sometimes we're staying in a pose a little bit longer to give the body time to adjust, time to let go. If you go too fast, your body will not have time to let go of tension. So sometimes we're staying in here a little bit longer. A few more breaths. You're doing great. Keep it up. One more breath, and once you're ready, slowly walk your hands back to child's pose. And again, you can choose to let your arms stretch out in front of you, or you can bring them alongside your body. Give your shoulders even more of a rest after putting the pressure on. Steady your breathing again. It's very important as well to remember that you don't judge yourself. Okay, so in a pose, especially if it's new or difficult, or if it brings up pain or resistance in your body, it's okay. It's amazing that you're here, and it's amazing that you're doing this, okay? So if you are going to judge yourself, feel bad about anything that you experience in a pose, it's becoming agony, okay? You're kind of torturing yourself. That's not what we want. See it as playing, as experimenting with new things, experimenting with your body, with your breath, with your postures. Let your hands on the mat so you can help yourself up into hero pose. And if you want to, you can stay in hero pose, if that's comfortable for you. You can use the blanket to put between your knees, so to kind of sit on it if you want. Sometimes that's more comfortable. If it's uncomfortable at all, just sit on the chair or just on the mat in any position you like. But this is a position where it's usually very easy to keep the neck and the head long. So it's very, very easy on the lower back and on the hips, but it should be comfortable, okay? If you're ready, bring the arms up halfway, and then we're going to move them very slowly, very easy. One goes down, one goes up, bend the elbows, and then one arm goes to the back, and the other one goes to the back of the head. When you breathe in, lengthen them again. When you breathe out, we go the other way. And there's no goal. You don't have to touch the hands don't have to touch. It's just a movement, and you can make it a small, you can stop right here if you want. Okay, so sometimes this is enough. Just making this movement. See how far you want to go. If you feel you have room, you go a little bit further. Keep breathing. So breathe in, you stretch, and on the exhale, you bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Very good. And one more. And once you bend them again, you can keep it wherever they are. Once you're here, I'll show you at the back. Try to make sure that you're not going to reach your fingertips. If you can reach and you can interlock your fingers and it feels good, it's perfectly fine. But it's not the goal. And if you don't reach, it's way better for this pose to keep the hands in line with your arms. So to put no pressure on the wrists, keep the hand on the lower back, and the other hand should not push the head forward, or the arm, if the arm pushes the head forward, release it until above your head and bring the elbows back. So then this is your pose. you will see that you have way more results, as in you have a way easier pose that your shoulders can enjoy if you put it like this and bring the elbows back. If you're going to reach like this and push the head forward, you're putting way too much tension on the shoulder area, and I think that's not what we want today. So keep an open pose, relax the belly. Try to bring the tailbone down so you don't hollow the back. And again, of course, keep breathing. Oh my god, if I say this one more time, you're probably going to dream about me saying keep breathing. But it's so, so, so important, and I cannot stress it enough. It's important to keep that as a base of your practice. And any posture is just adding to the breathing. Very important. When you're breathing, lengthen your arms, and when you breathe out, switch other way around. And you might feel that one way or the other, it's very different. Both shoulders are usually not equally loose or tight, so the pose will be very, very different, or feel very different. So give yourself room to adjust and to accept the new pose, the new way, the different way. Once you accept that your body might feel or act differently than somebody else's, it's easier to adjust the pose towards your needs and not towards what you think you should be able to do, or how it should feel, or how it should look. To just enjoy sitting in this pose, feeling the body, noticing what's happening. One more time. When you breathe in, bring the arms sideways, and when you breathe out, relax. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders, wiggle them a little bit. If you want to change position in your legs, you can of course always do so. Okay, we're going to the next pose. You can bring your right arm forward and then bring it in front of your body. So you kind of keep it stretched. You bring your right arm towards the left. The left arm is going to hold the right arm. So you can sort of relax the right arm into the left elbow a little bit, but keep the right arm straight. The left arm can pull the right arm a little bit towards yourself if you want to. Otherwise, just keep some more room. So you kind of feel that it's pulling here, maybe on the back a little bit. But try to release the shoulder. So bring the right shoulder down, left shoulder as well. And put as much pressure on the arm as you like, not too much. So just keep it easy. Keep breathing. So it's different from Hatha Yoga, right? If we do Hatha Yoga, we do that on Wednesdays and Thursday mornings. Then we are activating the body. And it's important to activate each part of the body simultaneously and equally. Right now we kind of let our right hand lean on the left arm. That's not something we do in Hatha Yoga, but it's perfectly fine in relaxed yoga, where we kind of activate one area, maybe two. We're more into stretching. Okay. Slowly come back out of the pose. If you want to take a minute, just release the shoulders. And we're going to change sides. So left arm, bring it horizontally. And then stretch it out to the right. Right arm, elbow goes over. If you want to let it hang a little bit, just do so. Just keep it stretched. If you bend it, you'll notice that all the stretch goes away in the elbow and in the back. And we actually want the stretch to be felt over there. So try to keep the arm stretched. Okay, very good. Keep breathing. Awesome. Okay, next breath out. Just slowly release. Bring your arms towards the side. Wiggle them a little bit if you want. Okay, we're going to do one more exercise. You can bring the palms and the elbows together. Bring them together. You can just keep the hands like this, keep them up. Okay. And then slowly bring the hands forward, but keep the elbows together. You'll notice at some point they want to release if you put them further away. Try to keep them together. So only stretch as far as the elbows are still together. Maybe you feel this weird tension, it's a weird feeling. I always find it a weird feeling. My arms start to tremble a little bit if I do this because I don't usually use those muscles. But you kind of push the shoulder blades apart a little bit. Okay, slowly stretch out your arms entirely and then reach up over your head. Stretch yourself out. And when you breathe out, release both of the arms sideways along your body. Keep a moment, just stay a moment in this pose if you want. Feel what you need. Maybe you want to wiggle something. Maybe you want to roll your head one more time. We're going to Shuvasana in a few seconds. Anything you need in between, make sure you get it. Because there's so many postures for the back and the neck and the shoulders. We'll never be able to do them in 40 minutes. But don't worry, we'll find the time to do the others as well. Once you're ready, we're going to go into Shuvasana. If you want to use your blanket as a cushion or to put over your body to keep warm, no problem, just do so. And make sure you're comfortable. And you can always skip Shuvasana and just stay seated. Sometimes it's nice to keep the body up, but if you like the rest, come to Shuvasana. You can bring your feet out a little bit more so they fall outwards, your feet fall outwards. That way your hips can fully relax. You can choose where you want your arms and your hands to land. Maybe on your belly, maybe a little bit more away from the body. If you do that, you bring the palms of the hands up, your shoulders kind of automatically roll down. If you want, you can bring the shoulder blades down even more, so the shoulders keep rolling outwards and down. It can be very relaxing, but only if it kind of occurs naturally, without pushing yourself in pose, which is always the case, of course, but especially with Shuvasana. So with Shuvasana, you want to let go completely. No tension anywhere. No strength, no pressure. Just your body lying on the floor, completely relaxed. If you want to keep your attention to your breath, you can do so. Or maybe you just want to feel your body, so be aware of the surface, be aware of the pressure of the surface on your body, maybe on the soles of your feet. Maybe you feel the pressure on your hips, on the back, or on the head. Maybe you feel yourself kind of sinking into the floor with every exhale. It's getting more and more relaxed. Just lay here. Maybe the mind wants to wander. That's what it's made for, so it will always try to get away from the present. But you have the ability to just bring it back every time you like. But don't worry about it. If you like it to wander, just let it go. You come back when you're ready. We are slowly bringing ourselves back from Shuvasana. We're breathing in a few times deeply towards the belly. So full breath in, full breath out. Maybe through the mouth, sighing or yawning if you like. And you can make small movements with the hands, with the feet, rolling the ankles, rolling the wrists, rolling the head if you want. Stretching yourself all the way across the mat, or maybe rolling yourself into a little bowl, bringing the head off the floor, anything you like. And then you can slowly come back to a sitting position. You can along your side, come back up slowly, or you just can roll yourself along your spine back and forth until you're sitting up again. Once you're sitting, whether in a chair or on the floor, take another moment, close your eyes if you want to. You're always free to keep them open. If you don't like to close your eyes, just keep them open, find a spot to focus on. The floor is mostly the easiest thing to focus on because it doesn't distract you as much. And take a few breaths here. Try to observe how your body is feeling. Try to observe the thoughts that cross in your mind. Try to observe the emotions you might feel. And it can be very subtle. Every sensation, whether physical, mentally, or emotional, can be very, very subtle. And that's where the awareness comes in. Because every time you take a moment to be aware, you will discover new things. You will become sensitive to that subtleness of your body. You will become sensitive to the subtleness of your mind, your spirit, your emotions. And the understanding of how you work as a human will grow. And from there you'll be able to learn new things, to do new things, to accept maybe things that are hard for you. And try to do all of that from the background of self-love, of self-care, not from being hard on yourself or being tough or, being the parenting rule for yourself that you should do something. Just be compassionate with whatever comes up once you're listening to yourself. And it might be hard, and I know you don't have to be able to do that tomorrow. It's just, to give yourself kind of a vision of how to deal with everything that comes up, because it can be a lot. A lot of things can come up. And slowly bring your hands towards your chest, in front of your heart, in Anjali Mudra, so the way we're holding our hands here. And please take a moment to smile to yourself or to kind of hug yourself inside. Give yourself a compliment because you're here you're here for you, there's no other reason why you should be on the yoga mat other than you. And you did it. You took care of yourself, of your body, your mind, your soul. Thank you so much for joining me, and namaste. If you have any questions because of this yoga class, or anything you want to share with me, if you have any feedback, don't hesitate, just ask me. You can do it on the chat right now, although I noticed last time it didn't work somehow, but we're just going to try again. Otherwise, you can always leave a comment below and just let me know if you like the video, if you're watching the video. And I hope to see you next time. I hope you're having a great weekend. Our next stream is Tuesday at 5 for another relaxed yoga, Wednesday and Thursday mornings at 8:45 for a Hatha Yoga or Flow Yoga class to activate. Let me grab some water here. Hey Chuck, hey Chelsea, thank you. You're so inflexible. Yeah, I know. I was too, and it doesn't matter. Yoga is not for the flexible ones. It's for everyone. Even if you are stiff as a board, you can still do yoga because there's so many postures, so many ways to move. So it's good for everyone, really. Yul, thank you so much. Have a great evening. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now. Have a great evening and I'll see you next time.